Hello Twilights and my fellow hunters, and Alex Waffles here. Hope you hear me in the game okay, along with my friend.
Benver.
And welcome to the first lore video for my 100% walkthrough of Bloodborne. Now I already had all the wonderful way to start, the lore written down, and Azriel here said it looked perfectly okay, but he understands the game better than me, so I wanted him to be here for it to add in his input, and he did not mind. The only reason we're a bloody mess is because we spent time killing everything that would potentially get in our way. If only I could have covered up Costin's face somehow. So, as my lore notes go, first piece you ever find, lore that is seek Hilbred to transcend the hunt. The note you find is in Yosete's clinic, which unfortunately is behind us and we cannot access. Not while I have him summoned, anyway. But the main theory is that this was written by your own hunter. Some also say it was left by someone else, possibly the Blood Minister, but don't know. Other things that I have heard over time have been that any hunter, no matter their origin story, unless you feel like playing with it, comes to Yharnam for a cure for whatever illness they have. Obviously, my character Costin is a different story, but ignoring that. If you manage to get past the Scourge Beast with my method of, running past it, which actually does work, I've proven it on more than one account, you're able to go over here and get up to the ladder and reach the Hunter's Dream through the lamp. After you get your weapon in return, you can speak with Yosefka and she'll give you her blood vial. This thing here. I have heard a theory that the blood vial you get from the ladies in-game is Rinstrel blood, aka period blood, if you don't know what that word means. I call BS on this theory. I'm sorry. I hear you making noises, but you're not saying anything. Come on. Nothing? Come on.
I think Yosefka's blood is that you find at the end of the game is mostly just kind of From Software's way of saying this is basically the last boss unless you're not going to fight the last two, like fight Gehrman. So we're basically going to give you a full heal, and that's what I think it is.
I meant more input on the Minstrel blood theory.
Nope. Comment?
You don't know how to react to that one?
I mean, it sounds good.
I'm not sure I follow it, though. I mean, I know females, if they're in close contact a lot and they get along real well, they can get matching period times, but that seems a little bit too convenient. Not to mention, I would not want to inject that into my system. I wouldn't inject blood into my system at all. But let's not get into that yet.
I want to point something out.
Yes.
I had a glitch happen over here.
What?
I had a glitch happen over here. At the bottom of the ladder when you fight these two guys.
Yes.
It apparently gave me unlimited silver bullets and blood vials.
Okay.
And now I have like almost full silver bullets and 20 blood vials.
Interesting. Let's not get off track.
I just thought it was an interesting tidbit.
Don't know how that happened, but anyway, I don't follow the Minstrel blood theory, but the guy I heard go on about it explains that it could make sense considering the high focus the game has on childbirth, the moon, lunar cycles, and menstruation, once thought to be closely tied to the moon cycle. I have no idea about any of that. It's very astrological, and I do not know my astronomy, so I can't add much to that, like, at all.
The whole menstrual blood thing idea that you had, though,
Yes?
does make a lot of sense considering who you see before you hit that chest was Queen Yharnam.
Fair enough, I suppose.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Although given what happened to her from one theory I follow, which could make sense, is her rare medical condition, but that's theory for a different day. We're on Central Yharnam right now.
True that. Want to talk about this guy right here? This guy right here?
Yep, poor Gilbert. Very friendly, he's also an outsider. He unfortunately has tuberculosis, which, upon watching enough ghost hunters, and they visited a lot of TB hospitals, oh my gosh, that was horrible once upon a time. It could probably still be bad today, but we have new problems, don't we?
Yeah, I think the saddest part about Gilbert's story is
what happens to him later.
the fact that
We'll discuss
just-
that also later, unfortunately.
I felt really bad.
I know. It was very
all
sad.
right.
So, he will inform us that, of course, he is an outsider, and Yharnam marks don't share much with them. But I heard someone say once that the Blood Minister, who made us a hunter, is rather talkative. Sure, he won't give you a lot of information, but he does talk to you.
That's actually cut content.
Shh. And I was talking about the opening cutscene, which is not cut content. And anyway, shush. I do know about some cut content, by the way. Oh gosh. Crap like this is why you're not in the main playthrough yet. But it should make it heavily amusing, which is why you're eventually going to be.
Nice.
Which way are we going?
I'm not done with Gilbert yet.
Oh.
Okay, so along with the Blood Minister, in my notes, there is a theory that the Blood Minister became the Scourge Beast who killed in the clinic. Proof of this can be seen, possibly, remember this is a theory, there's an abandoned wheelchair at the top of the clinic when you get access after finding the passage from the Forbidden Woods. The Scourge Beast could very well have been anybody, but then, where'd the Blood Minister go? I'll let you guys think on that one. Gilbert can also be how you first hear about the Healing Church, so that's if you don't have item descriptions to read yet. Doesn't know anything about Pale Blood, which your hunter will ask him about. I do nitpick something here, which he mentions after you kill 2 bosses in this area, that the Blood Ministration is supposed to completely cure an illness. How come he's still sick? Just have to throw that one out there. As opposed to perfect blood healing. Ugh. That is the very most polite thing I can say about the Blood Administration of the Healing Church. We'll get to that now. Yeah, that's me being polite toward the Healing Church, guys. So, if we hadn't already killed everything here, your hunter could look over this bridge and see that there are hunting mobs. You can clearly see the dead huntsman, though, along the street, courtesy of Azrael over here. He went one way, I went the other. Then we met up and did things together. But yes, you will see the hunting mobs. They are patrolling the streets for any reason. However, However, they have imbibed the blood themselves, as basically anyone has, or by reproduction traits, their children have it, because, well, they have to get their blood from their parents. And eventually, they're all just going to become beasts, possibly, unless having to imbibe the blood later on through the administration of the Healing Church is the only way it works. Oh, I'll let you do that. The proof of them going on to the Beast Scourge, however, is... Well, I don't have the monocular to show this, but I can try to get a good shot. Take a look at this guy. There is claws coming along his fingers, or at least they're there if you can get a good look, and he has got fur growing along his arms. Not to mention the very hair and facial hair period. You could excuse it might be matted and dirty, but you just can't really tell if that's hair or fur. Not to mention the overall unhealthy look of the men. They clearly do maintain their minds, because they will speak. If you just idly wander around or chill behind them where they can't see you and they haven't noticed you yet, you will hear them talk or groan. So they are maintaining their minds to an extent. I wouldn't think they would attack a fellow Yharnamite, but there's not really much proof of that.
I think it ends up being like a type of insanity. So, like, they would attack their fellow Yharnamites
I would
once
figure.
they hit a certain progression.
Yes, I mean, the brick trolls are theorized to be a step away from a Scourge Beast, and there is proof if you look at them at the right angle.
You can actually get a really good look at them. You guys can do this yourself.
Yeah.
But if you have the monocle, you can use the monocle and really take a really good look at their arms and facial features.
Yes.
So
It's
we
the
just
same
didn't get
with
that far yet.
brick trolls. If you have killed them and they landed at the right angle, like say they land on their chest, on the ground, you can see they have the beginnings of a tail, and it's furry. They also have noticeable claws on hands and possibly feet, but I'm not sure it's bursting through their shoes and socks. I'm not sure why I'm opening this, don't ask me why. It's just weird not having it open. It's always open. But anyway, the Yharnamites are xenophobic, and if no one knows what that means, the easiest way I can explain it, leave it alone, don't go picking fights. This is a temporary character. I heard the sound effect of you making your bow. I don't think I wasn't paying attention. Anyway. They're xenophobic, and that basically means if you weren't born in Yharnam, you're someone who's going to face a lot of scorn and hate. Basically any negativity whatsoever is what you're going to deal with. And if you knock on these doors, that's exactly what's going to happen. They'll be rude, and they'll send you away harshly. They're xenophobic. Or at the very least, the Healing Church has thoroughly made sure they believe it's the outsiders' fault the beastly scourge is here. Bull! We'll get to that though. But regardless, the Yharnamites who have joined the hunt will not help you. They are more out to kill you. And they would not even spit on you to put you out if you're on fire. They would let you burn. I mean, just look what they've done to this beast patient. And there's even a scourge beast up ahead. They've also strung it up. I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't dead when they strung it up, which is just horrible. Well, how they got it up there while it was alive is beyond me, but I wouldn't put it past them to burn it to death.
I honestly believe it's like part of like the whole witchcraft theory,
there's a... of course there's a witchcraft theory. Why am I not surprised?
Well, I mean, just the fact that, you know...
Especially the time
people
period.
were afraid of, like, witches back in the day. I figure this is the same thing. Like, they're like, oh, yeah, we know how to, we know there's a scourge, but we're not medically competent yet, so...
Healing church.
Burn it. Just freaking burn it. That'll clear everything up.
Well,
But we
technically
should still
speaking, when you have a scourge, a plague of some sort, you do burn the bodies and the surrounding area to get rid of the disease. But
But we
this
should still drink
doesn't seem right to me. It never did.
It's very important that we still drink infected blood, though. Very important.
Technically, you're injecting it into your body, not drinking it.
Fair.
I used to think you were just smashing it in your hand until I really looked at the animation.
Yeah, you pull out a needle and you're just like, here.
Yeah, I mean, you might have a vial that has a cork on it, but I would think the way your hunter works is like, if you want it to be a little different, it will be. Going with whatever Bloodborne effing logic you can, game logic, whatever. I didn't try to figure that one out too heavily. It basically becomes like a syringe. It's still shaped like a bottle, but there's now a needle on it. And as soon as it hits your femoral artery, you're healed. Let's see if I can get a good angle here. Not really, but you kind of saw it. That's better. I can't slow-mo it, I don't know how to, but if you look just right, you can see it's no longer just a vial with a cork. It does have a needle.
Yeah, and you don't really, instead of, like, injecting it, you basically just stab yourself in the leg.
I mean, basically. I'd imagine the hunter's dream probably helps in some way. I mean, how else can you carry so much crap?
Well, you're getting a soul's point logic now.
Which is why I just say roll with it, don't question it usually. Something else to take note of is that there's an awfully lot of skeletons here. And if you roll into certain boxes or barrels and urns later, you will find bones falling out of them. We will discuss this later, and it will be tonight, just not right now. Because we're still on Central Yharnam. But take good note of that. Are there even sticks in there? Get your monocular.
Yeah.
Can you look at that for me? I think there are sticks.
Yeah.
Unless those are
there's,
very
like-
sharpened bones.
Yeah, it's to add fuel to the fire. Because
Okay.
bones aren't gonna burn quickly. Wood will, though.
I'm not sure why they thought the bones would do much good, honestly, but then again, they're going insane due to the scourge. What should I expect?
Well, the bones are probably just, you know, like they actually threw people into this fire.
What
Like
makes-
their bodies. And then after a while, it just burned away, so all we really see is a skeleton.
Yeah, I do have a running theory that your hunter actually got here the day before. I don't know if I'm correct about it, but it's like, there's no windows or peepholes around some of these doors you knock on, right? So how the F do they know you're an outsider? Do they know the hunter smell of an outsider? That's noted several times. Or was it possible
I think-
you were unconscious
I
as
think-
you entered the city and someone saw you get brought in and it just got around?
I think what it is hunters, because we're killing so many things, and you don't really see the other guys, like the mob, actually kill a bunch of things. And plus, dogs have a certain smell, so what you probably smell like is just pure blood and whatever else you've been going through.
Yeah, and the moonlit scent we hear about is the pale blood thing. Which is a
But-
conversation topic I'm still a little hazy on, so I'm definitely leaving that one alone at the moment.
Yeah, there's another theory, but we'll talk about that later, because it has to do with, the Vile Blood faction.
Yes, that's one of the times you hear the moonlit scent thing. Other than
Yeah,
Yusefka,
well,
but we're ignoring her.
It's, yeah.
Why did I grab that? I knew what that was.
Because
probably gonna
it's
do that a few
habitual
times.
fact. It's just, I see something shiny, I need to pick it up.
And that's how Patches
all.
gets you! I mean, tell me I'm wrong. Alright. Oh, we have not been paying attention to my lore notes. Go back. Backtrack.
Well, to be fair, I'm just on my PS4, and I can't bring up your lore notes on my phone, so...
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm not reading it
You're
exactly
gonna-
either. I'm just getting the main points in.
Yeah, you're gonna have to pay attention for me.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to do when you keep distracting me.
I'm just trying to bring up good points.
I know, but you're also being silly. I do appreciate it, though. Watch
It's my
it.
nature.
Oh yeah, look, the boxes I was talking about that have skeletons in them. Not to mention, is that a box someone was carrying, or is that a mini coffin? I'm not sure I want to know the answer to that question. Okay, so the next part of the next part of my lore note is that guy right there. His enemy
Okay,
card
great.
from the Wikipedia calls him an executioner. He's just patrolling this little space here. His description goes along the lines of an imposing creature searching for trophies. I follow a theory they belong to the Healing Church and helped with the slaughter at Canehurst. Why this one is here, I have no idea. Maybe looking for descendants that escaped to the main city? Who could say? I did hear another theory they could be from an unseen village and their job is to bring bodies there, which is why we see this guy. Any input for me?
Yeah, well, I think he's just... Because basically what they do, at least what I believe, and I'm trying to do something here real quick, is if we take a look at him, not get too close, but if
Do you
we
wanna
take a
kill
look
him?
at him, he's, yeah, if you look on his back, right about there, you can see he cuts off the heads of the beasts. But I personally believe, you know, some of these guys used to be, from the executioner faction,
Yeah.
but they, because later you do see them in front of the access point to Canehurst.
Yeah, and Hemwick.
And I'm also, I'll
They're
try
in
to
the
share this
Forbidden
with
Woods
you,
too, aren't
but
they?
I use my monocle to kind of look at their back.
I mean, if you want, you could try killing it. We could attempt to roll him over.
You want me to attack him? Or
I
what?
mean, if it'll help you get a good look, because I don't have the monocular right now.
Oh no, I do, and I shared a clip to YouTube, so I probably can share it with you later.
Well, there you go. That's a
So
good
you-
call.
So I just put my monocular on where I can see him really closely, and you can actually see the heads on the back. And but I think this guy, basically, the whole theory is you walk by all these houses and there's coffins in front of them, and what this guy will do is take all these coffins and put them in here, and because these guys are big enough to carry them,
Definitely.
and they do that for the Healing Church. A certain faction, but the Healing Church nonetheless. Any more points you want to talk about?
Well, regarding the coffins, it's hard not to notice that they're chained up or roped off. I would gather they suspect maybe the person had the scourge and they're hoping chaining it will keep them from escaping. Gotta say, depending on the type of beast they turned into, that would not work too well. They'd probably break out of the coffin. Also, once you're dead, you're basically dead, even if you have the scourge. Even the disease can't bring you back, or rather curse.
You know what it might be? It might be the opposite of that. So they're probably chaining him up so they, you know, the other Yharnam mines can't get into them easily.
I would ask
they're
why they
really
would try
nice.
to do that, but there's a number of reasons I can consider.
But if you notice, it's only, like, what these two coffins, it's only this one right here.
Yeah, it's always the clunky ones. Careful you don't draw attention. I don't think you want to deal with that guy. I say as he rolls and makes noise.
But he's still far enough away. So if we look at this, you got One that's chained up multiple times.
With lots
Which you're
of
right,
padlocks
wouldn't
on
really
it.
help. But the other one's not locked up at all.
No, and it's very
Which makes
simple.
it's probably a family thing too. Like, do you want your? Because this one's just roped off.
And it's a box. And it's also very tiny, which makes me sad. Don't you dare hit it either.
Anyways,
Just watch the skeleton bust out of it. No.
But you need to calm down.
I'm watching
But what
you.
I'm saying is, I think it's a family thing. So like, you
Yeah.
can choose your coffin if you have enough money, and if you don't, like if you're poor, you get
A crappy wooden
you
one.
know.
And that's if you don't end up in
Well,
Hemwick.
you probably get this metal one right here, the
Well,
gold
I
one.
imagine you end up in Hemwick anyway, now I think about it.
Yeah. So
Oh look, a wagon with bones in it. Charming.
my favorite.
And a wheelchair. This always makes me a little queasy. I mean, imagine being unable to move your legs, and you just see a scourge beast coming at you. Ugh.
Well, I don't know. They do get the more powerful variants of guns. Like they do get miniguns. So
I'm
like,
talking
you know.
someone who doesn't end up grabbing a Gatling gun, son.
Yeah, they're well protected. It's fine.
Okay, what's my next
Anyway,
one?
so
Oh, we go over
yeah,
here now.
good.
If I can get off this cart. I got stuck. Since we already unlocked everything, we can just go the easy way. Up this ladder. Sorry we're running around a lot, guys. Turn around, go back to the second lamp up the ladder. I thought you were following me.
I was.
I gotta be so careful not to
think
fall
I'll-
off this ladder. I'm gonna go walk over here and not fall off said ladder. Because then I have to get more insight. Oh, you went the other way.
Yeah, you did.
Alright, so my next lore note is, I think, mostly a little idea I had while I was running around. And I now have a torch so I can see in this building. Awfully dark in here. Well, it hasn't got many windows, what am I expecting? Well, it appears to have a window, but they're not really effective. Alright, I'll do the upstairs first. Hi, Scourge
Do you
Beast.
want to talk about that note in the corner?
I will, just give me a sec. That's it, that
Because
lore
there's the
note's
guy
right
with the
here.
wheelchair, and if you want to talk about that, I gotta kill him real quick.
Alright. Okay,
Alright.
in this small building here, that's obviously a shortcut. Oh. I should read the lore note first. Dur-dur-dur. I legit am pointing myself toward this note.
Okay. I thought he was still alive. He's not. Okay.
Oh, I killed him. I wasn't
Don't worry
taking chances with the wheelchair huntsman. Are you kidding me? I've never gotten caught by one, but I've seen what they can do to you.
Are you on drugs, sir?
Probably. High on a blood cocktail.
Nice.
So, this note. You can see it's talking about the healing church and that it left people and blocked off the great bridge to Cathedral World. By old Yharnam burned to the ground the moonlit night. If you haven't looked at any item descriptions, which people tend to ignore, stupidly, in a Souls game case, then that's probably the first time you hear about old Yharnam. But my little thoughts for this area here, this little room, or building, I think it might have been another type of clinic, or at the very least, a storage area. I say this because of all the tools and things you can see. Or maybe I'm thinking too much about it. There's also coffins on the top. It could have been a tiny hospice of some sort.
God, why is that on?
I'm not positive. It's just some ideas I've had regarding the building.
Yeah, this looks like a clinic.
Yeah, or like a
one
hospice.
that's been abandoned. That's unfortunate.
If anyone doesn't know what a hospice is, I think basically it's where you go when you're about to die. And for Yharnam, I'm surprised it's such a small dang building. And who can blame me? Okay, we need to go, come back down the stairs. We need to go over to where the lonely old deer is.
Okay.
You're gonna see us run around a lot, guys, and that's exactly why we killed everything first. So we didn't have to, you know, kill it as we went. I can't read my lore notes at the same time.
I feel like it wouldn't have been so bad.
Well, if I had you kill everything, it wouldn't be. But then it'd be have a hard time you would concentrate. That was a worthwhile sentence, I apologize. Okay, so when you first come here, when you're playing, anyway, there'll be a rabid dog barking at this door. He isn't getting too terribly close because of the incense lantern, and boy do I have questions about that incense, but later. She will ask you after it's dead if you know a safe place. Unless you know how to glitch your way through the game, you can't send her someplace safe. Not right now. The next NPC is a fellow hunter. A hunter of hunters, to be exact. Eileen the Crow. If you like your hunter being in one piece, do not attack unless you're doing a challenge run to kill as many hunters as possible within a certain time frame. And yes, I watched one of those videos.
She's actually extremely useful to you.
Yes,
So
immensely.
you don't wanna... You wanna be your friend.
Even though the thing you have to fight is an effing nightmare, unless you know how to cheese him. Although they fixed a lot of those cheesing. She is a pale blood hunter, one of 3. The player character is one. Who is the other? We'll talk about that person later. The way you know these hunters are pale blood is that when they kill you, if you dare attack them, they will mention the hunter's dream in some way. They all do that without fail. She'll do it, saying something along the lines of, "You still have dreams. Tell the little doll I said hello." And Jura, well, if you're unlucky enough to get caught by his Gatling gun, you'll find out. Or of course the beast and the old Yharnam kill you. Although his dialogue got cut off stupidly, I'm not sure why they did that.
Yeah, no one really knows.
Up ahead, there is another shortcut you can open. However, it's not one I personally use. I don't see much reason to go back that direction. Oh crap. I thought I dropped down wrongly. I'm gonna heal this to be safe. There's little point in you knocking that down. I'm not going to go get it.
You and I both know it's a habitual habit.
Yes, if you see a shiny thing you must pick up. I understand. By the way, pro tip, you can walk around this. Oh crap, carrion crow's alive. Get away from me. Well, that was alive! Alright. Wanna go up here?
Assassinate.
We're friends right now, you can't do that, I'm afraid. And I wouldn't appreciate it because I don't have any more insight. So I do have to wonder with this nameless NPC. Her incense lantern is clearly no longer... Well, there's no incense in it. How come the brick troll didn't turn around and try to beat down her door? Well, he's over there dead, but my point stands.
I actually personally believe that the this brick troll well, I don't know. Well, because in this door she does die later.
He does?
But yeah, because that's one of the main doors that Patches takes over later.
He does that in any house, dude.
Yeah, well, I know, but I'm just saying. I'm assuming because if you, whenever Patches goes to the door, you never hear from her again.
Is it like that with any NPC, or is it just her?
I think it's most NPCs, yeah.
Hmm.
So any house he goes into, he just kills them.
Doesn't surprise me, it's patches after all, and I've never played a Dark Souls game. But I know about them.
You would want him dead.
Well, technically I have played Dark Souls 1. It was very brief though, my brother insisted. I didn't see a point though, considering the Souls and not Dark Souls, Bloodborne are different. So.
It should happen. We gonna talk about this girl?
Yes. There's a young girl in this house who was worried for her mother, who went out to find her father, who never returned from the hunt. She will give your hunter a tiny music box, which you can hear her playing. It helps her father remember them when they play it. Her mother forgot to bring it along. For gameplay purposes, I recommend you get the music box. It makes the boss fight a lot easier. Trust me, I'm pretty sure I forgot it one time. Something very noteworthy is that she says she doesn't know your voice, but she does know your scent. We brought this up earlier. Your hunter's scent will be mentioned several times. Either hunters have a unique scent, which, again, was brought up earlier, or it's just that pale blood scent that only the rarer hunters have, which we only know of 3. Possibly 4? Not sure on that one, though. I think it's just the 3. I'd have to brush up on that. Well, that'll be interlinked with lore videos much later on, unfortunately, so... This is the first area you can get insight. The room we were walking through before, which I insist must have been a factory once upon a time of some sort. And then all those carrion crows, which I walked past. Like, these carrion crows here. They guard a madman's knowledge, which you can crush to gain insight. And then down below in the building, you'll find some giant rats and some possibly sewer water, which is probably not just water, are also guiding another madman's knowledge. You can get 2 points of insight this way without having to go into a boss fight and Bold Hunter mark your way out. Which I did do to make things go a little faster. If you return to the Hunter's Dream at this point, the plain doll will be standing, and she will greet your hunter. And she will, of course, as everyone discovers, level you up. As a side note, if you do emotes in front of her, she will react to them. There's more to say about her, German, and the dream, but that's lore for incredibly later that I'm not looking forward to. She will, however, be surprised when she mentions German to you, as he is unseen in the dreaming world. So, how come we spoke to him? She, of course, can also explain the messengers to you. There are 2 bosses in Central Yharnam, and technically speaking, the cleric based is optional. You don't have to kill it, but I would recommend it for nothing more than the echoes and the weapons and the armor. Not to mention you'll be able to get a hold of Bold Hunter marks a little sooner. I'm not sure if you unlock those with just Gascoigne's boss fight, though. I've never tested that. Do you know?
What, Bold Hunter marks?
Yeah, I noticed they only become active in the shop after you kill the cleric beast.
That's not true
Really?
at all. Yeah, the Bold Hunter's marks you get from, you basically take the Upper Cathedral Ward all the way up. And once you get all the way up to the top, there's a chest. That's where you start getting them, along with
Really?
Margaret's Holy Blade.
But in my walkthrough, I got them after the cleric beast was dead.
No, did you?
Yeah.
Was it something else? There was something else that I really needed, and I can't remember what they were.
Huh.
Anyway. Yeah. But the reason you want to kill the cleric beast is, if you chose like the whip or something, and you're like, I don't really like this weapon, you can get any of the main weapons, the choice weapons,
Yeah.
So like soft leaper.
Well, you get that
all
from the
around.
thing the man-eater boar is guarding.
Yeah.
You don't have to kill the cleric beast
Wait.
for that. That's the Kirk hammer.
Oh, is it the Kirk hammer?
You're forgetting I did this very recently, so I remember.
Yeah.
It's been a while since you had a very new character, hasn't it?
It has.
Understandable. So, anyway. Other than the cleric beast, you can discover Father Gascoigne as a summonable hunter assistance. I would recommend that you kill anything along a boss fight, though, before you summon a hunter NPC to help you fight something. So they will kill any enemy in sight, and this usually gets them killed, requiring you to use more insight to get them back again. So, clear the path, then pick them up. But more often than not, I find them useless as nothing more than human meat shield, but disregarding that.
Other Gascoigne is only.
He's
I do
okay,
wish-
and he seems to have the luck of the Irish because he always finds that perfect spot for the cleric beast where he cannot get hit. I cannot believe that every time I see it happen.
I've actually never grabbed Gascoigne.
I did it more recently when I couldn't get summons. Yeah, I was trying to test something, which I'm about to mention now. If you play the tiny music box and bring him all the way over here to his daughter, he's supposed to softly laugh.
Chuckles a little bit.
Yeah, I never really tested it myself. I just tried the music box, he didn't react to it, so I guess you have to go over to his daughter. I didn't feel like going out of my way that much though, so someone else can give it a shot. Now, something noteworthy is the beckoning bell. This only fully works when a hunter rings the small resonant bell. Now, this is where things can get a little sticky. Sure, you have the old hunter bell, but does he really count as an old hunter?
Father Gascoigne?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an old hunter.
Okay.
Well, because he was one of the church hunters before he
Yeah, as
you
seen
know,
by his armor set.
well, I guess the whole theory is he was a church hunter before he got kids and married or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Or potentially
And then he
discover
wanted to
something he
settle
didn't
down.
like. I
Yeah.
mean, there is no father in the rank of the healing church, which makes you wonder if he was an outsider.
I believe he is.
I'm amazed that he would have gotten accepted by the healing church if he was.
Yeah.
You would think they
Oh,
wouldn't
'cause-
have accepted him. Although considering the crap they pulled and what they've done to the city of Yharnam, they probably don't have it in them to be picky about who their hunters are.
Well, yeah, because what Father Gascoigne was like I said, church hunter. So
Yeah.
he wasn't actually a member of the church, but just hunted for them. So they probably didn't really care. They're like, yeah, you're probably either gonna get killed or, you know,
Turn.
you're gonna die naturally. So
Yeah, I suppose they wouldn't overly care so long as something could help someone, I should say, could help them take care of the beastly scourge. Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense given who they are. Pieces of crap. Anyway, before I get on that tangent again. I was mentioning the bell specifically because of what Aegon of Astora said. Is that if he technically wasn't an old hunter, then how would he have a resonant bell? Those were just in, as we know them as the Chalice Dungeons, or quotation, to reveal gods, blah 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 blah, idiots. There's also the fact that the dream wasn't a thing yet. And as you read the description on the bells, it says the first hunter used them? How? There was no hunter's dream! My only guess is that there must have been nightmare realms even at that time. Or we just have to roll with it, and not ask questions.
Well, the hunter's dream is kind of like Mikolash's nightmare and all that.
Still, what I said was what made me confused. There wasn't really anything yet. From what we know, the nightmares and the dreams weren't really a thing until people started contacting Great Ones, and we don't know how long that took to successfully happen. So, if they did have the bells by then, how the F were they working? Something to scratch your head over, isn't it?
Yeah, it makes you pause for a bit.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. And that's just if they hadn't managed to commune with the Great One yet. If they had, then sure, Nightmare Realm, Dream Realm. Although, if you ask Gehrman, he would say Nightmare regardless. Though, who knows how long he's been stuck there, so who can blame him? Aegon did also go on to mention perhaps Gascoigne could have been a Pale Blood hunter. I don't follow this theory at all. To me, it looks like hunters who are Pale Blood, they don't become beasts, and that's exactly what happens to Gascoigne. They can lose their minds. I mean, if you don't do Eileen's side quest, you end up having to duke it out with her.
Well, I don't think Gascoigne might not be an old hunter because he doesn't operate like as a summon like everyone else. So like everyone else, you know, you're about to attack the boss for the first time and you have the DLC, you can summon an old hunter at like every boss battle. Gascoigne is different because, you know, you
that was the question I was
Gascoigne
asking you
first.
earlier. And it brings up the topic again of the bells. How the F did he get a hold of any? I don't see the Healing Church offering that to an outsider hunter who they're expecting to get killed. Unless he stole it.
He stole it.
It's part of some of the theories regarding him. It might not just been his family that he left for. He might have discovered something particularly unseemly about the Healing Church. He said, F this, I'm out.
Yeah, that would, honestly.
And yes, to everyone who noticed the reference I made, I meant to word it that way. But yeah, I don't think he's a Pale Blood hunter, because all evidence points to Pale Blood hunters are special, and they don't turn. Which is why I do not follow the theory line. There's some other theories regarding the Cleric Beast, but I think they mostly have fallen flat, because they called him Ludwig or Lawrence once upon a time. I don't know how long they can live.
You know what?
But I'm not sure about that. Especially considering the new stuff that's been discovered that I'm more keen on, because it makes more sense, arguably. Lawrence is more theorized to be a beast in the Chalice Dungeon. Ludwig, well, if you have the DLC, he met a really torturous end.
So, I'm reading the Small Resonant Bill.
Yes.
Which is more than likely what Gascoigne's using.
Yes.
And it says the small bell was discovered in the old underground lab. Which, if he was a church hunter, he was probably brought down into the labyrinth, which is where he might have got his small bell from.
Beckoning Bell says it too. And I imagine this silencing blank also came from there. It doesn't say that though, but it still brings up, would the Healing Church really trust him with that? An outsider. So it just makes you think, he must have taken it without their knowledge.
Yeah.
I mean, if he was disgusted by them, or it was just his family he wanted support from then on, he could have decided, that I can't just not keep hunting. So he took up the bells. Either way, the theory line works, so that could explain why you're able to summon him regardless.
Yeah.
And no matter which theory you follow, his family or finding distaste in the healing church, I just do not imagine them happily handing over such important artifacts, basically, to an outsider who they expected to get chomped.
Yeah. I can't remember who I was watching. It might have been some, or Yharnam store or whoever, but
Yeah.
they were saying that the name Gascoigne in general is a Yharnamite name.
I mean, you think about
So-
it, yeah.
Father Gascoigne was more likely a priest of, another nature.
I did mention that earlier as well. I mean, if you wear his garb, someone tested it actually, and approach a mob, they will specifically say attack the minister, father, cleric, whatever. I don't remember the exact wording, but that's not something that would be said. Unless they're so far gone they don't care they're attacking a potential church member. Which could possibly be, actually.
I think it's actually that the citizens started realizing that the church was doing some sus stuff, so they're just attacking specifically church people, but they're also attacking.
They're attacking probably
Outside.
anything that moves, honestly. I mean, they appear to
Yeah,
maintain
it's
some mental processing, but the Scourge is taking them slowly, but it's happening. Wouldn't surprise me if they ended up killing their own families, thinking they were beasts. I mean, I don't mean to go into Dead Space logic here, but we all know how that went. Those of us who have played and or watched a walkthrough for Dead Space, anyway.
That's a oof.
Yeah, let's leave that one alone. That one, yeah. I just figured I would mention that, and they would know what I'm referring to. Okay, what's next on my list? So, if you kill the Cleric Beast, as Gilbert directs you to that area, the Great Bridge is blocked off. You can't go past that one entrance because there's a giant effing gate in your way. And the door, well, you can't even poke it. You don't even have the option. Go back to him, he'll suggest you go through to the aqueduct. Basically, the sewer system. And if you did summon Father Gascoigne without knowing what happens to him, you get the horrific shock of discovering he is now hostile to you. The easiest way to deal with him, unfortunately, is to play the music box, which causes him immense pain as he staggers and holds his head. It gives you time to do damage, but the song will no longer restore him. He's too far gone now.
Also use the rules against fighting beast-like creatures, so fire and serrated weapons
Yes.
will do wonders.
Heck, if you guys have watched my videos for the walkthrough of that point in time, you would see on his enemy card that his weaknesses is serrated. And I did primarily use that. Not that it mattered, the person I summoned wrecked him in a couple seconds. Kinda made the battle anticlimactic, but I did explain how you're supposed to kill him instead of being a powerhouse.
And if you want, after you killed the cleric beast and you talk to this girl for the fight, you can open this door up, which all it really leads is back toward that mob.
Yeah,
And you can
like I said, I don't come
turn
back
around.
here. Not really, anyway.
Yeah, but you can still come back here and,
Yeah, in fact, this is where you
Just come
summon
around.
him. Oh, in fact, there's his summoner right there.
yeah.
Not that I can use it, I have any insight left. Plus, it's nerve-wracking having him follow me around. I'm too used to him being an enemy, not an ally.
But like that shortcut is really nice if you you know, forget something over here, or
Yeah.
you know, you're helping your friends, you can quickly come back this way.
It's something I should acknowledge. If you're quiet for a second and listen. Try to keep the song in mind. You're gonna hear it later at one of the very final boss fights of the main game. Not counting DLC. It's one of the final main game boss fights. You're gonna hear it again. Now, there's different ideas behind why, but I'm not sure yet. I need to look into that one some more. I'm sure you have input, but we're not at that point yet anyway. I know we're saying that a lot, but it's for a good reason. We don't want to jump around. It'll get confusing for me, if nothing else. But back to Gascoigne. Once you've killed him, if he's transformed, there's a working theory that if you listen carefully as he dies, it sounds like he's saying, "Forgive me." He's not saying that to you. No, 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 no. He doesn't know you. Probably still feel bad for it, though. So you're a fellow hunter, and you probably won't want to hurt an innocent person. But if you walk around on that area in the Odin tomb, you will find the body of a woman. And she has, as the little girl described, a brilliant red brooch, which you know to have belonged to her mother, which tells you Gascoigne was begging his wife's forgiveness for killing her. Or some people believe that maybe the beasts killed her, or she was trying to get to him, and that's what sent him over the edge. I'm not sure, to be entirely honest. Wow, that water's loud. F off, running corpse. You too, carrying crows. I need out of this water. It's too loud.
You want to show them the shortcut for the pig?
They've already seen it in my main walkthrough. And no, I'm not throwing myself down the bottomless pit. I know what that thing is.
No. I was just saying the whole. You go down. You know, I suppose you could still go this way and still do that. But,
I usually trick out a very dumb AI mechanic, but it works every time, and it's not my fault the developer never fixed it.
Don't fix what's not broken.
Or they never noticed it. Or possibly they just didn't care. So this is the entrance to Gascoigne's boss fight. And so once you get the brooch off his dead wife, you can take it to the little girl, and she'll of course cry, and then she'll just be gone later. And, well, even if you keep the thing and turn it into a blood gem, you can send her to Odin Chapel, but she'll never make it there. The man-eater boar will kill her.
You guys thought there was gonna be a good ending?
It's a Souls game. What are you guys thinking?
Oh, no, you can't say Souls game.
It's
because
made
there's
by the
good
same
endings in Souls
people.
game.
Come on.
It's Bloodborne. Bloodborne doesn't believe in nice, happy thoughts.
Dark Souls doesn't really either, I've noticed, from what people have told me.
Well, considering I played 3, a little bit of 2, and halfway through 1, there's some parts that are really decent that, you know, it's not all bad.
Okay, fair. So Bloodborne's just a jerk all around. Alright.
Yeah. It's the black sheep of the Souls family. And I love it.
I do enjoy it too. But anyway, this child, no matter what you do, she's going to end up dead. If you don't give her the brooch and just send her on her way to Odin Chapel, the boar will kill her. If you do give it to her, she will wander off, possibly hoping for a safe haven. And again, the stupid thing is going to get to her. However, you can do something horrendously cruel, like I did, for the sake of a rune, because I'm doing 100%, unfortunately. You can send her to Yosefka's clinic. I don't even want to imagine what she was put through. But by the time the whole thing is done, she's no longer herself. If you want to get something out of the situation other than a silly little bow for your messengers to wear, send her to Yosefka's clinic for a rune. It's a horrible thing to do, but no matter what happens, unless you just completely never talk to her, she's gonna end up dead in some way. There's no happy ending there.
Actually, you know what? If you really think about it, if you send her to Yosefka's clinic, she technically doesn't die.
Technically speaking, but what do we know of the people after they get sent there?
Well, they turn into,
Celestial emissaries, yes, I know, but are they even themselves? People would argue it based on the animations that the people still perform. I mean, take the suspicious beggar. You find him, well, eating, for lack of a better term. And once he's changed, he's kind of pawing at his face. He's making the same gestures he did when you first saw him.
Yeah.
So maybe some part of them is still there, but how much of them is aware at that point? It doesn't seem like much. Otherwise, I don't know about you, I try to kill the person who made me that way.
Yeah.
I don't think they succeed, but they can try.
I don't know.
I've tried to. I'd killed fake Yosefka before. It wasn't fun. But before we go off on that particular topic, that's way down the line still.
I was gonna say, if your choices are A, leaving and then being so depressed inside your house because you tried leaving to go find your mom, and then you either got killed by a brick troll or fell off the side of a building, or your choices, or you know, get turned into an emissary where you actually get to live for a while. I don't know, and then, you know, someone like me or you or your hunter comes in and, you know, kills you unknowingly. I don't know. I feel like that would be a pretty good way to live as long as your memories are there, but I feel like you don't. Whatever happens to them, I feel like they have no knowledge of the world. They basically have mentality of like a 5-year-old.
Possibly. And we don't have any way to really find out either. They do still move around. They acknowledge the world around them, sort of. But it's like, how aware are they?
I think
it's kind of a sad thought.
I think she reduced their insight.
Well, considering what the celestial emissaries are used for, you would think they'd need a higher insight, and possibly the proper human mind couldn't handle that. I mean, look what happens to Adela.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, I don't think it's the worst way to go.
Probably not. I mean, I'd rather let them live, but unfortunately, 100% walkthrough means I need to kill them.
Basically, just tell her that, hey, yo, your mama dead. Oh, and I killed your dad.
I didn't have a choice! He was trying to kill me! Okay,
And
stop. Back on track. This is what I'm talking about.
I feel like I was on track.
Okay, so after you killed the bosses, you can go back and talk to Gilbert. He'll give you dialogue after every boss, I'm pretty sure, and he will give you the flame sprayer after Gascoigne. Yosefka also has dialogue. It's easy to get. It just takes a little bit of reloading and using her blood vial a couple dozen times. I've hilariously seen players go, "Woo, I got a date after the hunt's over!" Well, I'm bursting your bubble, son. Unless you want to sit down at a romantic dinner with a celestial emissary, but hey, whatever floats your boat. I mean, technically it's still her, like you said, it's just not gonna look like her anymore.
Actually, you know what's hilarious?
But when you think about it, if you get childhood beginning ending, you probably restore her to normal.
So I actually looked through the window, Yosefka's window,
Yeah.
when she was like at the right angle when she was Yosefka,
Yes.
and then after she changed, and I realized it's the same character.
Well, they
Like,
just
the
look
same
alike.
model. Twins.
Yes,
No.
that's a theory I've heard, but let's not go on to that one yet. That's a bit down the line. There's been
I'm
a
just
lot
saying,
said
you can
about
still-
those
you can
people.
still have a date with the other one as long as you don't murder her to death
Yeah.
and take your child by the force of a C-section with a blade.
Stop. So, as I was going on about,
That's coin over here.
when fake Yosefka shows up, which is, like, it's thought that it happens once you climb the ladder into getting into Odin Chapel, that she's gone. She's taken off, and she's taken Yosefka's place. That becomes an area you can send NPCs to. However, from what you've heard us saying, if you don't want them to be in this weird, I think potentially dead, sort of brain-dead state, don't do that!
Of course, send one person there. Don't forget that.
Well,
One person.
you do want to send one guy there. You can just ignore him and or kill him. It's your decision.
Well, I mean, so you want to send, depending on what you want to do for the beast, you can send him there, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the suspicious beggar, because he will do the opposite of what you tell him.
Oh yes, you want to tell him to go there, and then
So
he will
you'll
go to Odin Chapel.
Odin Chapel.
Yes, I'll be mentioning that in my actual walkthrough, so I make sure I do that every time.
Yeah.
Now, if you do want to see what happens if you send people to her, if you have PS Plus, make a cloud save, and then go through the game and send people to her that way. She does have dialogue, however, I do not have the patience to go through all that effort. The same thing can happen if you send the suspicious beggar to Odin Chapel, who, interestingly enough, will never go inside the chapel, and people will slowly end up dead. I wonder why. Especially considering how you find him. It's not like he's around 3 corpses and he's eating their flesh, potentially. No, that's not what's happening. Totally not what's going on, right?
You can also find out if you just slap him in the face with your sword.
Yes. Most people have to cheese their way through that with the poison daggers. And you can fight fake Yosefka later, which I will be doing in my actual walkthrough, I believe, because she has a rune, and I need that rune. And you don't need the other item you get after you activate the Blood Moon. You don't have to have that. You just need 3 of the umbilical cords, so you don't need all 4. You do, however, need 3. If you don't have all 3, it's not going to work. I'm referring to one of the endings. We'll talk about it later. Okay, the rest of the lore I talk about when the actual Blood Moon comes up and you've seen the occurrence in my actual walkthrough. So you'll be relieved to know we can kill the bosses and move on to old Yharnam.
Nice.
Well, that means I can finally end this video. Oh crap, we procrastinated way too much.
Nice.
This video is an hour long, dude. That's gonna be a pain in the butt to edit. At least all I have to do is put an ending and opening on it. Alright though, come here. Face the camera with me. Alright though, sorry we kind of got into some hilarious shenanigans, but that just happens when you hang out with a friend. We did get the lore out and discuss several interesting topics, which was the point. So we hope very much that you enjoyed watching this. If you'd like to support my YouTube channel, and if you have one, you can like, subscribe, and follow it. He can probably link me his and I'll put it in the description if I remember. And there's my linked Twitch channel if you'd like to support that, and I do stream more often than record, unfortunately. Follow and share that. And he has one too, which you can probably also find.
Join us.
Join us. Alright, but we thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this, because we definitely had fun. And we will see you in the next vid. Bye!
That was the wrong gesture.
Too late, I'm ending the video.